I was watching my 5-year-old granddaughter Sophie color at the kitchen table when my daughter Emma called. Her voice was tight, controlled in that way people sound when they're trying not to cry in public. "Dad, can you come to dinner Sunday? Derek's family will be here." Emma hadn't invited me to family dinners with Derek's family in over a year. Not since his mother, Linda, made it clear I wasn't the kind of father-in-law who reflected well on them. A retired accountant living in a one-bedroom apartment in southeast Portland wasn't their standard. "I'll be there," I said. When I pulled up to their house in Laurelhurst Sunday evening, Derek's BMW was already in the driveway, his brother Brian's Mercedes beside it. I parked my 15-year-old Camry on the street. The house had been Emma's dream. A small craftsman she'd saved for years to afford on a teacher's salary. Derek had contributed nothing to the down payment. I knew because I'd helped her with the paperwork. Derek answered the door. 38, fit from expensive gym memberships, wearing clothes that cost more than Emma's monthly grocery budget. "Marcus," he didn't say my name warmly. "Come in. Everyone's here." Everyone meant his mother Linda and his brother Brian. Linda sat at the head of Emma's dining table like she owned it. 55. Designer everything. The kind of woman who measured people by their tax brackets. She looked at me once, dismissed me twice. "Marcus, you're here. Still driving that old car?" "Still reliable," I said mildly. Brian laughed. "Dad always says if you're not driving something new, you're not living right." Their father wasn't there. He never was. Busy with his real estate empire in Lake Oswego, too important for family dinners. Emma came from the kitchen carrying a roast. She looked tired, dark circles under her eyes. She'd lost weight. When she saw me, something flickered across her face. Relief, maybe, or warning. Sophie ran to me. "Grandpa!" She wrapped her arms around my legs. I picked her up, felt how solid and real she was compared to everything else in this room. "Hey, sweetheart. How's my girl? I made you a picture. It's in my room. Can I show you after dinner?" "Absolutely." Derek cleared his throat. "Sophie, go wash your hands. Adults are talking." The little girl's face fell. She slid from my arms and left quietly. Too quietly for a 5-year-old. We sat. I was given the chair farthest from the conversation, next to the kitchen door. The position reserved for people who don't matter. Linda started immediately. "Emma, this roast is dry. You really should learn to cook properly. Derek's father expects quality meals." "It's fine, Mom," Derek said. "Though, Emma, the potatoes could use more salt." Emma said nothing, just picked at her food. Brian was talking about his business, some consulting firm that helped people start their own companies. He used a lot of words that didn't mean anything. Synergy, disruption, paradigm shifts. I'd heard these words before. In 25 years with the FBI's Financial Crimes Division, I'd heard every con man's vocabulary. Derek joined in. He and Brian tag-teamed the conversation, talking about crypto investments, about how much money they were making, about deals and opportunities, and being smart with money. Linda turned to Emma. "You're lucky Derek takes care of the finances. Teachers barely make anything. What is it, 45,000? Emma's jaw tightened. 42. Linda laughed. "Not even enough for a car payment on a decent vehicle. Good thing Derek earns real money." I sipped my water, said nothing. People reveal themselves when they think you're harmless. "Marcus," Derek said suddenly, "I've been meaning to talk to you. I have an investment opportunity. Crypto. Very exclusive. Minimum buy-in is 50,000. I'm retired," I said. "Living on a fixed income. Come on. You must have savings. This could triple your money in 6 months." "I'm comfortable where I am." His face hardened. "That's your problem. No ambition. No wonder Emma never learned to think big." Emma's fork stopped halfway to her mouth. Linda nodded. "Really, Marcus, you could have done better for yourself. What did you do again? Something with numbers?" "Bookkeeping," I said. "Accounting work. Freelance." "Freelance." Linda made it sound like a disease. No stability, no benefits. No wonder Emma struggles. "I don't struggle," Emma said quietly. "Please." Derek leaned back. "You teach kindergarten. You make poverty wages. If it weren't for me, you'd be living in some studio apartment." The room went silent. Emma stared at her plate. Actually, Derek said, let me show everyone something exciting. He pulled out his phone, opened a banking app, turned the screen around proudly. See this? $50,000. Just moved it this morning into a new crypto fund. Guaranteed returns. Emma's face went white. Derek, that's Sophie's college fund. Was Sophie's college fund. Now it's an investment in our future. In 6 months, it'll be 100,000. You didn't ask me. I don't need to ask permission to manage our money. His voice had an edge now. That was my grandmother's money. For Sophie's education. Derek stood up. And I'm tripling it. You should be thanking me. Emma stood too. I want it back. Now. The slap came fast, open-handed across her face. The sound cracked through the room like a gunshot. Emma stumbled back against the wall. Her hand went to her cheek, shock freezing her features. Sophie appeared in the doorway. Small voice, terrified. Mommy? Linda laughed. Actually laughed. Good, Derek. Women need discipline. Your father would be proud. Something in my chest went very cold, very calm. Brian nodded approvingly. About time, bro. Can't let them question your authority. I set down my fork carefully, stood slowly. Excuse me, I said. I need to make a phone call. Derek barely glanced at me. Whatever. Take your time, old man. This doesn't concern you. I walked to the kitchen. Through the doorway, I could still see the dining room. Emma against the wall, tears starting. Sophie frozen in place. Derek settling back into his chair like a king. My phone came out smoothly. 25 years as a federal agent teaches you certain skills. Evidence first. Always evidence first. I activated the video recording. Positioned the phone on the kitchen counter, angled toward the dining room. Let it run. Then I made the call. Sarah. It's Marcus Reynolds. There was a pause. Then recognition. Surprise. Warmth. Marcus? Holy hell. How long has it been? 3 years? 4. Listen, I need a favor. Are you still with financial crimes? Just made sack last year. Supervising the whole Portland office now. What's going on? I need someone to look into a possible Ponzi scheme. Individual named Derek Chen, Portland, claims to be running crypto investments. Just told a room full of people he moved 50,000 into a fund this morning. Money that wasn't his. Also, just witnessed him commit domestic assault. There was a beat of silence. You're serious. Video recording right now. Domestic assault in progress. Subject continues to make incriminating statements about financial fraud. Give me the address. I'll have agents there in 20 minutes. I gave her Emma's address. Added, he doesn't know who I am. Neither does his family. They think I'm a broke accountant. Sarah's voice carried a smile. Marcus Reynolds, undercover in his own family. This I want to hear about. But first, let's shut this down. I ended the call, picked up my phone, walked back to the dining room. Derek was lecturing Emma about respecting him, about understanding that he made the decisions. Linda was adding commentary about modern women not knowing their place. Brian was checking his phone, already bored with the drama. I sat down, resumed eating, let them talk. Marcus, Linda said, did you make your call? Calling someone for investment advice? She laughed at her own joke. Something like that, I said mildly. Derek turned to me. You know, Marcus, you could learn something from this. About being a man. About taking control. Instead of being a doormat your whole life. I cut another piece of roast. Chewed slowly. My life's been interesting enough, I said. Interesting? Derek scoffed. You're 62 and living in a one-bedroom apartment. You drive a car older than Emma. You have no savings, no assets, nothing to show for your life. I have my daughter and granddaughter, I said. That's enough. Linda shook her head. That's sad, Marcus. Really sad. Emma had sat back down. Her cheek was red. She wasn't eating, just staring at her plate. Sophie came to me. Grandpa, can we go to your house? Not yet, sweetheart. Soon. I don't like it here, she whispered. I know. I pulled her onto my lap, just a little longer. Derek's phone buzzed. He glanced at it, frowned. Then it buzzed again. And again, the doorbell rang. Who the hell? Derek started. He walked to the door, opened it. Good evening, a woman's voice said. I'm Special Agent Sarah Chen, FBI. This is Special Agent Rodriguez. We need to speak with Derek Chen. The room went silent. Derek's face drained of color. FBI? What FBI? This must be a mistake. Sarah stepped inside. Her badge was visible. Behind her, Rodriguez and two uniformed Portland police officers. Mr. Chen, we've received a report of domestic assault at this address. We also have questions about your business practices. Derek turned around, saw me sitting calmly with Sophie on my lap. You called them? Yes, I said. Who the hell are you to call the FBI? Sarah looked at me, smiled. He didn't tell you? She turned back to Derek. That's Marcus Reynolds. He worked FBI financial crimes for 25 years. Retired as Senior Supervisory Special Agent. Personally investigated some of the biggest Ponzi schemes in the Northwest. Derek's face went from white to gray. Your FBI? I'm retired. Linda stood up. This is ridiculous. What authority do you have? None, I said. That's why I called people who do. Sarah walked to Emma. Ma'am, I need to ask. Did this man strike you? Emma looked at Derek. At me. At Sophie in my lap. Yes, she whispered. He hit me. Do you wish to press charges? Emma's hand shook. I don't. Mom, I said quietly. Look at Sophie. Emma looked at her daughter. At the fear in her small face. Yes, Emma said stronger now. Yes. I want to press charges. Rodriguez moved toward Derek. Sir, you're under arrest for assault in the 4th degree under Oregon law. This is insane, Derek said. Over a little discipline? Sir, striking your spouse is a crime in Oregon. You have the right to remain silent. The handcuffs clicked into place. Linda was on her feet. Brian, call your father. Call our lawyer. This is that man's fault. She pointed at me. He planned this. I documented a crime and reported it to appropriate authorities, I said. That's what citizens do. Brian was pale. FBI, he kept saying. Your FBI. Was. I corrected again. Sarah turned to me. Marcus, we'll need statements from you and Mrs. Chen, but I also want to talk about these financial claims. You said Ponzi scheme? Derek moved $50,000 of his wife's money into a crypto investment this morning without her knowledge or permission. Money that was designated for their child's education. He also claims to have made substantial returns on similar investments. His brother here runs a consulting business that helps people start their own companies. In my experience, that's often cover for pyramid schemes. Brian's face went red. That's legitimate business. Then you won. Ain't mind providing documentation, Sarah said pleasantly. We'll be in touch. They led Derek out. He was shouting threats about lawyers, about destroying me, about how powerful his family was. Linda followed, crying now, about how I'd ruined everything. Brian left quickly, phone already to his ear. The house went quiet. Emma sat at the table, shaking. Sophie was crying softly against my shoulder. It's okay, sweetheart, I whispered. It's going to be okay. Emma looked at me. FBI? 25 years? I nodded. Why didn't you ever tell me? I sat back down, still holding Sophie. Because I wanted to be your dad, not Special Agent Reynolds. When I retired, I wanted simple, quiet, just being Grandpa. But you let them insult you, call you poor, worthless. People reveal who they really are when they think you're harmless, I said. Derek and his family showed me exactly who they were. I just had to wait for them to cross the line from cruel to criminal. The 50,000, Emma said. Is it really gone? We'll see. If Derek's running a fraud operation, the FBI can freeze accounts, trace money. Recovery is possible. Sophie lifted her head. Grandpa, are you a superhero? I smiled. No, sweetheart. Just someone who knows how to ask the right people for help. Sarah came back inside. Marcus, we need those statements. Emma, I know this is difficult, but we need to document everything. The assault, the financial coercion, anything else. Emma nodded, wiped her eyes. What happens now? Derek will be arraigned tomorrow. Depending on the evidence, he'll likely make bail. We'll request a restraining order. As for the financial investigation, that takes longer. But Marcus knows the process. He's walked a lot of people through it. I can help, I told Emma. Every step. That night, Emma and Sophie stayed at my apartment. Small space, but safe. Sophie fell asleep in my bed. Emma and I sat at the kitchen table. "Why accountant?" she asked. When people asked what you did, standard cover, FBI agents make enemies. I used the accountant story for years. Even after I retired, it was easier than explaining. And Mom? Did she know? Your mother knew. She kept the secret, even after the divorce. Emma was quiet for a long time. I should have listened to you when you said something was wrong with Derek. You're listening now, I said. That's what matters. The next 3 weeks moved like dominoes falling. Week 1. Derek was arraigned, made bail. His father's money. But the restraining order held. He couldn't come near Emma or Sophie. Emma filed for divorce. Her attorney was efficient, thorough. I'd recommended him. Former prosecutor. He knew the system. Week 2. Sarah called. We've been digging into Derek Chen's investment business. Marcus, you were right. Classic Ponzi. He's been running it for 3 years. Over $2 million in victim funds. The $50,000 from Sophie's college fund? Already spent. Used to pay earlier investors. Can you recover anything? We've frozen his accounts. Found about $400,000. It's something. But most victims will lose everything. The brother? Brian? Pyramid scheme, just like you suspected. Multi-level marketing, with no actual product. He's been recruiting people, taking their money, leaving them with nothing. We're building cases against both of them. Week 3. Derek's attorney tried to negotiate. Wanted to plead to misdemeanor assault, no jail time. Emma's attorney said no. We have video evidence. We have FBI documentation of financial fraud. We're going to trial if necessary. Derek took the plea deal on assault. 60 days in jail, 2 years probation, anger management, no contact order extended to 5 years. But the federal charges were coming. Sarah and her team built the case methodically. Every transaction traced. Every victim interviewed. Every lie documented. I helped. Not officially. I was retired. But I knew how these cases worked. Knew what evidence mattered. Knew how to connect dots. In week 4, federal prosecutors filed charges. Mail fraud. Wire fraud. Money laundering. Securities fraud. Brian got his own indictment. Both brothers. Both facing serious time. Linda's boutique business? Investigation revealed it was funneling money from her son's schemes. She got charged as an accessory. The father, the real estate magnate, tried to use his lawyers to intimidate. Found out federal investigators don't intimidate easily. The preliminary hearing was in June. I sat in the back of the courtroom, Emma beside me, Sophie with a babysitter. Derek looked smaller, defeated. His expensive suit couldn't hide the fact that he was scared. His attorney tried to argue that this was a misunderstanding, that Derek had made mistakes but meant no harm. The prosecutor was brutal, walked through every transaction, every lie, every victim. Played my video from that dinner, Derek's voice clear and proud. $50,000. Just moved it this morning. Emma's voice, that was my grandmother's money. Derek's voice, I don't need to ask permission. Then the slap, crystal clear. The judge set trial for September, but denied bail reduction. Derek's a flight risk, she said. Evidence of hidden assets, foreign accounts. He'd been preparing to run. In July, Emma and Sophie moved in with me officially. The one-bedroom apartment was tight, but we made it work. Sophie slept in my room. I took the couch. Emma had the bathroom for getting ready in the mornings. We had dinner together every night. Simple meals, conversation. Sophie drew pictures. Emma graded papers. I worked on my coin collection. Normal life. The kind Derek's family had mocked. Brian's case went to trial first, August. I didn't attend, but Sarah kept me updated. Found guilty on all counts. 15 victims testified. Total losses exceeded $300,000. Sentencing. 8 years federal prison, restitution of $300,000. Though he didn't have it. Bankruptcy had already been filed. Derek's trial came in September. Federal courthouse. I did attend this one. Sarah called me as a witness, not about the assault, about my observations of Derek's statements regarding his investments. I testified for 2 hours, walked through my background, 25 years FBI, hundreds of fraud cases, what I'd heard that night, why it raised red flags. Derek's attorney tried to paint me as biased, a bitter ex-family member pursuing a vendetta. I stayed calm. I simply reported what I witnessed to appropriate authorities. The investigation revealed criminal conduct. Those are facts, not bias. The jury deliberated 8 hours. Guilty on all counts. 47 victims took the stand during sentencing. People who'd lost retirement savings, college funds, life savings. Derek had spent it on cars, clothes, appearances, playing the successful investor while burning through other people's money. The judge showed no mercy. 12 years, federal prison. $3.8 million in restitution. Recommended security level medium. Linda got 3 years. Accessory to fraud. Money laundering. Derek's father's real estate empire? Under investigation now too. Turned out he'd been using similar tactics. Inflating values, misleading investors. The dominoes kept falling. October came quietly. Emma got Sophie enrolled in a better school. Started therapy for the trauma of seeing her mother hit. We had dinner one evening. Spaghetti, Sophie's favorite. "Grandpa," she said, "why didn't you tell Daddy you were FBI?" I set down my fork. "Because people act differently when they know you're powerful." I wanted to see who Derek really was. Was he always mean? Yes, sweetie. But he hid it well until he felt safe being mean. "You're smart, Grandpa." "I'm old," I said. "That's different." Emma smiled. "It's not different. You waited. You watched. You protected us." "I protected you when protection was needed," I corrected. "Before that, I trusted you to make your own choices. Even when those choices hurt? Even then. You're an adult. I can't live your life. I can only be here when you need me." We ate in comfortable silence. Then Sophie said, "Grandpa, can you teach me chess?" "Chess? Why chess?" "Because it's about thinking, about being smart, like you." I looked at Emma. She nodded. "Okay, sweetheart, we'll start this weekend." That Saturday, I set up my old chess set, taught Sophie how the pieces moved. She was focused, serious, asking questions. "Why does the queen move so much?" "Because she's powerful. But the king is important. You have to protect him. Like you protected Mommy?" "Something like that." We played simple games. She lost every time, but she learned. A letter came in November, from Derek, sent through his attorney, as required by the restraining order. "Dear Emma, I'm writing from FCI Sheridan. I know you probably don't want to hear from me. I don't blame you. What I did was unforgivable. I hit you. I stole from our daughter. I lied about everything. I've had a lot of time to think, about who I became, about the choices I made. My attorney says I shouldn't admit guilt in writing, but I don't care anymore. I'm guilty of everything. I became exactly what I claimed to hate, a fraud, a cheat, an abuser. I don't ask for forgiveness. I don't expect you to respond. I just want you to know that you and Sophie deserve better. You always did. I hope Marcus helps you rebuild. He's the man I pretended to be. Derek." Emma read it twice, then set it down. "What do you think?" she asked me. "I think he's scared and broken. Whether that means genuine change or just despair, time will tell. But it doesn't matter for you. You've already moved forward. Do I have to forgive him? No. Forgiveness is a gift, not an obligation. He hurt you, hurt Sophie. You owe him nothing." She nodded, folded the letter, put it in a drawer. We didn't talk about it again. December brought the first snow. Sophie was ecstatic. Emma and I took her to Mount Hood for sledding. Simple day. Hot chocolate afterward. I caught Emma smiling. Real smile. First one I'd seen in months. "You okay?" I asked. "Better than okay," she said. "Free." The apartment was decorated for Christmas. Simple. Not expensive like Derek used to demand. Just lights and a small tree. Sophie made ornaments at school. We hung every single one. Christmas Eve, Sarah came by, brought wine, sat with us while Sophie played with her new chess set. "Marcus," Sarah said, "I've been meaning to tell you. The Bureau wants to bring you in for a fraud training seminar. Share your expertise with new agents. I'm retired. You're also the best financial crimes investigator I ever worked with. One day, maybe two. Just talk about cases, methods, how you think." I considered, looked at Emma and Sophie. "If it's local," I said. "I don't travel anymore. My priorities are here." "Understood. January, okay?" "January's fine." After she left, Emma asked, "Do you miss it, FBI work?" "Sometimes. But this," I gestured around the small apartment, "this is what I worked for. Coming home to family, being grandpa. The work was important, but it was also all-consuming. This is better. Even in a one-bedroom apartment? Especially in a one-bedroom apartment. No pretense, no appearances, just us." Sophie looked up from her chess set. "Grandpa, I moved the night right. Did I do it right?" I came to look. "Perfect, sweetheart. You're learning fast." She beamed. Outside, snow fell softly over Portland. Somewhere in a federal prison, Derek was learning what consequences meant. Linda was doing the same. Brian, too. But here, in this small space, we had something they'd never understand. Dignity, peace, each other. Sophie went to bed around 9. I read her a story, tucked her in. When I came back out, Emma was standing by the window, looking at the snow. "Dad," she said quietly, "thank you." "For what?" "For being patient, for waiting, for protecting us when it mattered." I stood beside her. "That's what fathers do. Derek's father would never have done this." "I know. That's his loss." Emma leaned against me. "I'm glad you're my dad. I'm glad you're my daughter." We stood there for a while, watching snow fall over the city. The modest apartment, warm and safe. I'd spent 25 years chasing criminals, sophisticated fraud, complex schemes, millions of dollars. But this case, my daughter and granddaughter, was the most important, and we'd won. Not with drama or violence, with patience, evidence, the system working exactly as designed. Derek had thought he was untouchable, smart, above rules. He'd been wrong about that. He'd also been wrong about me. Saw a poor old man. Didn't see the federal agent who'd built cases against people far more sophisticated than him. People reveal themselves when they think you're harmless. Derek revealed everything, and I'd simply ensured the right people knew about it. Now he had 12 years to consider his choices. And I had my family, safe, whole, free. At 62, that was worth more than any salary, any title, any recognition. Sophie called from the bedroom. "Grandpa, can you teach me more chess tomorrow?" "Absolutely, sweetheart," I smiled. Tomorrow, and the day after, and every day, that was the job now, and it was the best one I'd ever had.